the State of Gonzo address. The first time Jack Nicholson called, he was furious, pissed off, screaming. It was August 1995, and my grandmother, Louverine Render, had died. Right after the funeral, my family and I headed out in a rented car for a 5,000-mile out west road trip. Hunter S. Thompson had invited us for a visit. I'd published his Nixon obituary, He Was a Crook, as a limited edition broadside, and it was getting big attention from collectors around the world. Taking the back roads to Pikes Peak and Independence Pass, through Aspen to Woody Creek, I drove nonstop to Owl Farm. My kids knew about Hunter. When we pulled up next to the Red Shark and got out, there was a god-awful screaming, crying, pleading that sounded like a baby being eaten alive by a bear. Hunter's sound system was blaring across the yard into the mountains. Hunter welcomed us in. He offered me drugs. He handed me alcohol. Then Jack Nicholson called, screaming. There were 3 calls from Jack while we were there. He had come out for the weekend to watch a boxing match with Hunter. Hunter, not knowing Jack, had brought his daughter, slipped over to Jack's house, broke out a window, and threw several hundred lit firecrackers into the house, scared the hell out of Jack's kids. Jack was pissed. That was the first call. By the second call, Jack and his daughters were calming down. He didn't call Hunter as many names. By the third call, everything was fine. All was forgiven. Hunter was a wild man, but he was also a Southern gentleman. It was hard to hold a grudge against him, but many people did, including people from his home state, his hometown, Louisville, Kentucky. The question I keep getting from people recently is, what would Hunter think about all this? And by all this, they mean Gonzo Fest. They mean the mural on the side of the monkey wrench. They mean the mayor's proclamation. They mean the banner at the Bristol. They mean Hunter getting inducted into the Kentucky Journalism Hall of Fame last year and the Kentucky Writers Hall of Fame this year. When die-hard Hunter fans ask me that question, I know why they're asking. Wouldn't Hunter sneer at all this nonsense? Wouldn't he see it as selling out? And to them I say, hell no. Hunter knew he was a hell of a writer. He knew he deserved the recognition. When Neil Chadwick, Executive Director of the Carnegie Center for Literacy and Learning in Lexington, called to ask me if I'd serve as the inductor of Hunter S. Thompson into the Kentucky Writers Hall of Fame, I said, hell yes. Here's a few of the words I shared during that ceremony on January 28, 2015. If life is a dream, as some suggest, sometimes beautiful, sometimes desperate, then Hunter S. Thompson's work is the terrible saga of the ending of time for the American dream. With his actions set at the heart of American materialist culture, with war as perpetual background playing on the television, Hunter S. Thompson, like the prophets of old, shows how we, through greed and power lust, have already gone over the edge. As Jack Kerouac, through his brilliant oeuvre, breathed hope into international youth culture, Thompson shows how the ruling power elite is not about to share what it controls with idealists yearning for a world of peace, love, and understanding. Hunter still has the power to disturb those who cling to the great capitalist way. Hunter still unnerves the power elite. Those folks focus on the drugs and the booze and the crazy man antics, the weird turn pro, and they try to dismiss Hunter's message by dismissing the artist's lifestyle. We must look beyond the life of the artist to the body of work itself. That is the measure of success. Like those who have re-examined George Orwell's 1984 to find a multi-layered literary masterpiece, we must look deep into Hunter S. Thompson's work and discover the multi-layered messages. His books, especially the early ones, and his letters are literary masterpieces equal to the best writing ever produced. And it's way past time we honored Hunter. I did it while he was alive, producing the official Hunter S. Thompson tribute in 1996. Hunter, Johnny Depp, Warren Zevon, David Amram, and Douglas Brinkley got their Kentucky colonelships that night, and after the show, Hunter and Johnny started calling each other Colonel Depp and Colonel Thompson. And after Hunter shot himself on February 20th, 2005, I called his widow, Anita, and we talked for a long time. I wrote Hunter Shaman Thompson a tribute and 14 suggestions for Louisville to honor Hunter S. Thompson. We had a memorial here in Louisville at the Rudyard Kipling. But Louisville, Kentucky remained quiet, still embarrassed, utterly mortified to its gentrified roots by the life of one of its finest writers. Truly I tell you, said Jesus, no prophet is accepted in his hometown. Luke 4:24. Can I get an amen? while papers around the country published long articles of appreciation and praise of Hunter's writing career, the Courier-Journal managed a cartoon mocking Hunter and a small piece by Bob Hill. In 2010, I received a phone call from Denny Humphrey, owner of the Monkey Wrench. He wanted to produce a Gonzo Festival to honor Hunter, but said he'd only do it if I joined forces with him. We had several long talks, out of which was born Gonzo Fest Louisville, a one-day and night music, poetry, and art festival celebrating the life and work of Hunter S. Thompson and the Gonzo spirit. Special guests included Anita Thompson, New York Mets poet laureate Frank Messina, Congressman John Yarmouth, and others. We unveiled a beautiful mural of Hunter painted on the side of the Monkey Wrench by 4 artists: Andy Cook, Carol McLeod, Evan Leibowitz, and Alexander King. The Monkey Wrench, in the heart of the Highlands, became Gonzo Fest Louisville headquarters. In the fall of 2013, Denny Humphrey, Mike Maloney, the mayor's manager for special events, young rebel poet Jake Mahaffey, and I met at Slugger Field. Mike said the city was ready to join forces with Denny and me and make the next Gonzo Fest huge. We shook hands, agreeing to create and unveil a giant Hunter S. Thompson banner as the main goal of Gonzo Fest 2014. Derek Podolsky, Nick Gehring, Lauren Hendricks, Rebecca Matheny, and David Nichols joined our Gonzo Fest production team. For 6 months, we worked around the clock. Ralph Steadman sent me 38 images, paintings, and photos of Hunter. We selected unanimously the most historic Steadman portrait of Hunter for the giant banner. Ralph also created the Hunter's Gonzoville logo, which we included on the banner for 6 days and nights, March 31st through April the 5th. Gonzo Fest 2014 shook 17 venues throughout Louisville. It was the biggest celebration of Hunter S. Thompson and the Gonzo spirit ever. As part of the giant banner unveiling, Mayor Greg Fisher read an official proclamation changing the name of Louisville to Hunter's Gonzoville. Gonzo Fest 2015, our 5th anniversary celebration, will take place Saturday, April the 11th, downtown on the waterfront harbor lawn. We have started raising funds to have a life-size bronze statue of Hunter created, which we hope to unveil at Gonzo Fest 2016. I have enjoyed, honored, and respected Hunter's life and work from the release of Hell's Angels. I'm excited and relieved that the work I started in the 90s is picking up steam and gaining ardent new supporters. Thank you, Denny Humphrey, the Gonzo Fest production team, the city of Louisville, and Gonzo fans everywhere for honoring Hunter in his hometown. Thank you, Kentucky Writers Hall of Fame. Thank you, Kentucky Journalism Hall of Fame. Whether you know Hunter as a madman or a visionary, whether you see him as a drunk devil knocking in vain on the gates of heaven or a brilliant native son of the bluegrass, I invite each and every one of you to the biggest, bestest celebration of Hunter S. Thompson's life and work in the Gonzo spirit. I invite you all to join forces with us in Hunter's Gonzoville on Saturday, April the 11th. See you all at Gonzo Fest 2015.